Hi, welcome back to Orlando Experience. We are back at Horror Nights again tonight. This is, I think, only my second time filming Horror Nights this year, but I have actually been a lot. I just had a lot of family and friends going with me, so I'm not bringing my camera with me. We are going to go in and talk about my general view of the event this year, talk about my listing too, because that's changed a lot. At the beginning of the night, I think we're going to head straight back to Oddfellow and Darkest Steel, because those are always the shortest at the beginning of the night, because we are here at opening. I thought I charged my camera, so it's not fully charged. I'm probably going to need to buy a cord somewhere, so we'll talk about that when we get into there. So we're going to try to catch the Scaremonies this time, hopefully. So we are going to head that way right now.
I've seen you shaking in fear, yet begging for more. You practically worship those who stood here before me. Doctors, directors, even clowns. But I don't want your worship. No, I want what you want. So what is that? Fear? Horror? I promise these can unhinge your soul and prepare you for something more. That is what I'm offering. Enter now, as this horror night begins!
So since I forgot to charge my camera, sorry it's a little loud back here, I did end up just buying a fuel rod. I do already have one of these, I just forgot it in my bag. If you're curious on pricing, they're $35 for one, I think $70 for two, and three is $105, so it doesn't really give you a discount. I do like Disney more because they give you free charges, so just keep that in mind. I think it's $3 here to swap it out. And there's also a mobile app that you get $5 credit when you just sign up for it, and you can just use it to pay. So you can just get $5 off, and that's just some good info. So we are just heading back past Jungle Doom, going all the way back towards Darkest Steel and Oddfellow. Last of Us always has a little bit of a busier line at the beginning of the night because of stay-in screen. I also don't know if it's open, it was delayed earlier. But I always suggest heading back towards here first, because that front corner with Stranger Things stuff, everyone runs there most of it. So I would just highly suggest heading back towards this way. I've never seen this before. Not going after anybody, but it doesn't seem like Jungle Doom is actually ready right at opening tonight. I know technically it doesn't open till 6:30 every night, so that could be a thing. I think it's about 6:15 right now, so that makes sense, but it does not look like any of the actors are out yet. Again, this is why you come back this way. I don't know if you guys can see it, it's a little shaky, but it's only 10 minutes for Monsters, because again, most of the stay-in screen back here, I don't even know if they technically open it for stay-in screen, but most of them go to Last of Us, because that's like the house back here. So again, I would always suggest just coming back towards both Monsters, Darkest Steel, and Oddfellow. One thing about Darkest Steel though is I would always hit it first. I'm just hitting this because I've hit Darkest Steel a lot, because right at the end of Darkest Steel it is all the exits for all the other houses, so a lot of people just loop around and go straight there. So we actually went into Monsters first. I still think that is the scariest house this year out of all the houses. I don't necessarily think some of the other houses are not scary, but I think definitely out of all of them, it definitely is the darkest feeling and has the most amount of scares, at least big scares, I think, on my opinion. I find the house very scary. Surprisingly, one that I actually find pretty scary too is Chucky. I think that's partially because you get halfway through the house the first time. Even though I knew it was coming, a lot of people I was with did it, where you get halfway through the house and it actually goes outside. It feels like you're about to exit, but you actually don't. You go right back into the house through a section just as long as the first. So now we're heading back to Dr. Oddfellow and Darkest Steel to do those ones too, because again, this back area always has short lines. And I would suggest, if you go to Monsters first, always go back to Darkest Steel next and not Oddfellow. Oddfellow might get more of a line, but Darkest Steel will get really long because Darkest Steel and Oddfellow's exits are both right there. So a lot of times people just walk around and just either do it again or come out of Oddfellow and do that one. All right, we'll see you guys after. All right, so it does look a lot later than it actually is. It's probably only about 45 minutes from when I last filmed. It got dark really quick. I just wanted to do a little bit of a spoiler review of some of the houses this year. So if you don't want to know anything about the houses or you plan to come later in the season and you don't want to know, so just skip forward right now. I'm just going to talk a little bit. I think Monsters is definitely one of my favorites this year, but I think it's by far the scariest this year. I think I thought that last year too. I think the Monsters house also got me the most. I just feel like the scares are always very on top of it. I think some of the effects in that house, especially with the hunchback and he comes down and he like is on a bungee system, so he comes down and like tries to grab you. I think that's super cool. Darkest Steel, I'm still a decent fan of. It just has a lot of competition this year. There is a few scenes in that I think are really good. I think there's the scene where he's playing on the stage just a little bit later on where he has like a blue thing in his chest and it looks like his soul's getting sucked out by the demon. Stuff like that. And there's also a scare in there that I only recently got. Right in that scene, there's a piano that a guy jumps out of. It's really cool. So far that house, it's decent. It's one of the better houses still, but I just have a few problems with it. It just has some stiff competition. Oddfellow I still think is number one for me. It just has really good set decoration. I really like the lion puppet in there. The Minotaur in a tutu I think is hilarious. The overall theme I like. I usually don't like clowns or, you know, that kind of theme, but it does a really good job on not pulling out the clowns every 2 seconds. Like it's like a whole circus kind of thing. There's also some really cool scenes, like one where you're walking through where a knife thrower is going and you can feel the air from the knives going past you. And right in that same room, there's a guy that comes out with a hammer and smashes a guy's head in and it sprays blood and all over you and stuff. I think that's really good. So far, I think my list will be somewhere up on the screen. Those are some of my favorite houses. Darkest Steel, not as much, but I do think we're gonna head towards the front now. It actually isn't too busy tonight, and Blood Moon I think was only 15 minutes, so we're gonna go do that, and we'll talk about it after. I did just want to mention I'm back here in the Central Park area. If you want a nice spot to just like sit, there's a few benches back here. If you want a nice place to sit and just relax and be a little bit of away from the event, there's nobody back here. I've had like 2 people walk through, so it's very, very nice in a little small area to just relax. All right, so I'm gonna talk to you guys after I do my next house. All right, so now it is a little bit later in the night. I think it's about 9:30-ish. Last time I checked in, I think it was back like 7:45 maybe. Now I've done both Blood Moon, or 3. I've done Blood Moon, I've done Yeti, and I've done Dueling Dragons. I'll again show the rankings. I think Dueling Dragons definitely moved up. I'm not sure how much, but it definitely did. I'm gonna find a quieter, more lit spot to film. I'm gonna go eat something and then I'll check back in with you guys. So I've returned to the same spot just because it's really quiet back here. I'm not bothering anybody, and there's some good lighting on the ground. I just wanted to talk about the 3 houses I did do. So I've done 6 houses tonight already, and it's just now about turning 10 o'clock. So I feel like it's been a slightly not busy night. It is a Friday, so I expect it to be a little bit busier, but it's not. It's quite nice. The wait times are always overestimated. Like Blood Moon I think said it was 40, I waited about 15. Dragons I think said 35, and I only waited about 10. So a little overestimated, but it's kind of nice when you get in line. You just almost walk in the house. So it feels pretty good here tonight. we'll probably go do a few more houses a little bit later. I think I'm gonna chill out for a little bit back here. There's some benches, it's quite quiet, besides, you know, the music behind me, but overall it's pretty quiet back here. Dueling Dragons, I think definitely has moved up in the list rather than down. I just really like fantasy, and somebody that's gone to the theme parks for a long time, seeing the Dueling Dragons getting used again is pretty cool. Yeti, I think it's probably gonna stay towards the top too. It's just a really fun house. It's got good scares, but it's not too scary where it's really scary. It's just kind of fun to walk through. There's some funny moments in there. There's a part where like a Yeti arm comes down. There's a bear that seems to be everybody's favorite, and I do agree, he's quite funny. The Dueling Dragons, it's not the scariest house, but I really like it just because it's fantasy and I love fantasy stuff. The reason it's not too scary is because all the costumes seem to be lit up in some sort of way almost. There's only a few that aren't. So even though it makes the costumes look great, it's just, you can kind of see it coming. Blood Moon, I think, is about mid on the scary, and it's a really good house. It reminds me of Dead Man's Pier last year with the huge sets. Got like the Blood Moon, it's basking the entire village in the Blood Moon, so it looks really cool walking through it. Otherwise, I think I'm just gonna hang out for a little bit, and we're gonna try to hit, I think, Last of Us and Stranger Things towards the end of the night, because right after about 1 o'clock, the lines almost drop to nothing, because most of the people leave. So we'll come back later.
Like, I think... Oh, this is a do this.
My search for the lost souls has led me here into the depths of this jungle.
So I am walking around right now because I've noticed for some reason the scare actors don't have their mask on tonight. I don't know what's causing it, but I'm going to continue to film the scare zones. I haven't heard anything happening, but apparently all the scare actors, at least the ones over here in Dark Zodiac and Jungle of Doom, have taken off their masks completely. They do seem more aggressive without their mask on, but I do think it's funny. I don't know what's causing it, so I'm going to go continue to just film the scare zones. What's happening. It seems like the Chainsaw people are still wearing their masks, but in general, it doesn't seem like anybody else is wearing masks tonight. It was earlier in the night we saw them. I don't know what's caused it. I still think they're doing a great job. It actually brings almost a new life to the scare zones, it feels like. Even in here, they're still not wearing them. But it almost feel like it's a little new, even though it's not, I know, but it just kind of feels like it. So we're gonna continue to walk through scare zones. We'll walk through Vamp. I probably won't film too much of it. It's got mad copyright music in it. And also they don't wear any mask over there. So there's no reason to film it. But we're gonna head over to the shipyard, and then we're gonna take a break over there. Again, don't know what's happening. It does seem like Shipyard is the only place with masks still on, so I don't know, like, I don't know. I'm not gonna try to speculate or say anything. So until I know definitively what's going on, or if I ever figure it out, I'll let you guys know. But if not, oh well. It definitely is a little different. They feel like really aggressive. I do things because they don't got their mask on, so they can see a little bit better, so they can kind of be a little more up in your face. But I'm gonna sit here for a little bit over here by Richter's, and then later tonight I'm gonna go watch the show, try to do Stranger Things and Last of Us as my last two things. Alright, I'll see you guys then. Alright, so I'm back. It's about 1:30 in the morning right now. I went and saw the show actually at 11, and then I just hanged out for a little bit. If you don't know how I feel about the show, I don't know if I talked about it yet. I definitely think this year is the best of the Nightmare Fuel shows. I think just the stunts and everything, all the tricks and stuff is the best this year. So I went and saw that, and I just hung out for a little bit, and then around 12:45 I went and got in line for Last of Us. So it was posted at 70, I only waited about 35, 40-ish. We're actually walking over to Stranger Things, and I'm gonna do that real quick. Last of Us originally was gonna go a little bit further down on my list, but I think it's going back up. They really were pumping the fog in that house this time around in a few of the sections. And I just think, I don't know, I think I'm just a fan of Last of Us, so that influences me a lot. It's just cool seeing it. Obviously, I've heard people that don't know anything about Last of Us not like that house at all because they don't know what's going on. And I can understand that. But it's still staying pretty high on my list. So I'm heading over to Stranger Things to get in line right before it closes. It's about 1:30 right now, so we're gonna go do that. Alright, well that's it from us for Halloween Horror Nights. A few more things. I do want to talk about Stranger Things and stuff. I forgot to mention my favorite part of The Last of Us is actually the spores. That there's a couple scenes with the spores that come down. I just think that effect's really cool. They were really pumping the smoke in that house too. The other thing I want to mention is Stranger Things probably staying the same on my list. I don't think it's staying too high. I'm not hating it, it's just I think Stranger Things is a little overdone at this point. I love the first season, but as it kind of went on, I just kind of But I still think the house is good. I think there's some cool effects in there. There's a part where you walk into the trailer and you can see the hole up into the or you're in the upside down, but you can see the hole up into the real world. It's cool. I think it's a cool house. There's some good scenes. It's just not super scary again, but it's not bad by any means. So I think that's gonna do it. It's about 2:15 in the morning, so I did close the place down. I think we should do maybe one more video of Horror Nights this year, so I'll let you guys know if the rankings change at all. This is probably pretty solidified though for the rankings, whatever it is in this video. So we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Bye.